Alright, I'm getting a little tired from creating all these videos, but okay, so let's start. Object-oriented programming. So now you know how to create a website using PHP, you know how to create a database using MySQL, you know how to combine the two. Okay, now you need to take it to the next level. Object-oriented programming is something that a lot of programmers have a hard time grasping. So if you never have done object-oriented programming, this may be a little difficult or very difficult. But don't be scared. There are a lot of books out there and tutorials that are not done very well, I think. So don't try to go and read about object-oriented programming. Here we found one tutorial that we really like. I think the author did a fantastic job explaining everything you need to know about object-oriented programming, and it will take you about probably like an hour to go through the tutorial. You don't have to go through all the videos. You don't go through the videos. I think it's more confusing. Sorry, but I think it's more confusing. So just go through, and as you go through the tutorial, just type it on your PHP, on your Notepad++, and just see if you can do the same thing. Just play around with it. Now some people may ask, hey, why are we doing this using object-oriented programming when we can do it much easier doing the traditional way from top to bottom? So the answer is really simple. When your application is really simple, if you're not using object-oriented programming, you may be able to get something done much faster. Now when your code gets larger and larger and larger, and now someone else needs to come into your project to help you out because your project got larger, if you did it the traditional way from top to bottom, good luck. I mean, it's just not going to work. So think of it this way. Let's say you got like 5 files in your folder, right? If you got 5 files, is there a need to create like folders within that folder and organize information? That's probably an overkill, right? But if you got like 15,000 files in a single folder, can you easily find the file that you're looking for? You can't, right? It's just too much work. So what you would do instead is you would create different categories, right? Folders. And you would put different files to those different folders. Object-oriented programming is exactly the same way. If your code is really simple, it's like you have only 5 files. So why create folders or object or classes to do that, right? It doesn't make any sense, right? But if you're having like 15,000 files or like 100 thousands of lines of code, it's just you just cannot go from top to bottom to find out exactly what you need to do to fix it. Right? So you organize it using classes, using objects. And that's where object-oriented program comes in. Now when we teach you and go over the tutorials, we do it really at the very basic level so that you don't get overwhelmed. But again, it's the value of object-oriented programming and the value of creating classes is when the codes get bigger. Now, another reason that you should learn object-oriented programming is if you want to become a web developer and work in an enterprise, if you don't know object-oriented programming, you're not really a programmer. You have to know it. You have to know it. So, depending on your level of experience, this chapter could take anywhere from, I would say, 4 to 5 hours to 15 hours. Now, if you still don't feel completely comfortable with object-oriented programming after you go through the tutorial and after you do our assignments, and really the assignments will help you understand better how OOP works, I wouldn't encourage you to spend more than 15 to 20 hours on this chapter. Even if some things are a little fuzzy, just move on, because on the next chapter we're going to teach you how to use an MVC framework. And in that chapter, you're going to use the same thing that you're learning right now in this chapter, how to create classes and objects and things like that. And after time, as you just use more object-oriented programming and use classes, you're just going to feel really comfortable over time. But you may not feel comfortable right away. But that's okay. It took me some time to get adjusted to object-oriented programming, but now whenever I build an enterprise level application, everything is done using object-oriented programming. So enjoy, and make sure you work on the assignments, and go through creating some real applications using object-oriented programming. And good luck. Okay, bye-bye.